Hi, welcome to my video on a constant multiple rule number 2. We're going to do some examples of that rule. Find d dx of each. So h of x is 4x cubed. d dx is the derivative, so h prime x is, this is a constant, so it's 4 times x cubed derivative. So that's 4. The derivative of x cubed is 3x squared. And that gives us 12x squared. So we didn't have to use, we could go f and g, but this is a constant, so it's the constant times the derivative. And again, v prime is negative 2/3 times the derivative of x to the 9, and that's negative 2/3. Derivative of x to the 9 is 9x to the 8th. And when we multiply fractions, we cancel here, we get a 3, so it's negative 6x to the 8th. And we got p prime. P prime is, let's rewrite this first, because this is in the denominator, so this is 7x to the negative 2. So if we rearrange 1 over x squared is x to the negative 2, then because of the power rule, so this is 7 times the derivative of x to the negative 2, and so that's negative 2 times 1 is negative 2, and we decrease this by 1, so it's a negative 3. So that becomes 7 times negative 2 is, let's say, negative 14, and that's x to the negative 3, so that's negative 14, and that's 1 over, so it's x cubed. X to the negative 3 is 1 over x cubed, so it's on the denominator. And we have a constant here of negative 1, which is just negative, this has to be 1, so the derivative of t of x is the negative 1 times cos x prime, which is the negative of, derivative of cos x is negative sine x, so negative times the negative is positive, so it's just a sine x. Again, that's a negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative times negative is a positive. And the derivative here, the derivative of f of x is the constant times the derivative of the e of x. And that's the constant, which is 10. Derivative of e to the x is e to the x. And we got the g of x, the derivative of the g of x, again, is the constant times ln x derivative. And the constant is 9. Derivative of e, or ln x, is 1 over x. So that becomes 9 over 1 becomes 9 times 1 is 9, 1 times x is x. We could have a negative on that, 9x to the negative 1, or we can leave it like that. Let's continue with a few more examples. Again, find the derivative of each. So k prime x is the derivative. We have a constant, and notice I have a bracket here, because if I wrote like that, then you wouldn't know if that's 53 to the x, so I had to put a bracket around this expression. So that's negative 3 times the derivative of 3 to the x, so it's a negative 5. Derivative of 3 to the x is 3 to the x ln 3. And again, you can leave it in that order, and I put a bracket around like this. Again, put a bracket around here so the negative 5 is times this function. And we got to do this one, and again, this is root, so d to the x equals 6, and that's a root, so that's the cube root of, and let's make this an x. Oops, sorry about that. Let's do a better job than that. D of x equals 6. Cube root of x squared is x to the 2/3. And so now we do the derivative of the d of x. 6 times x to the 2/3 going to do the derivative. So the derivative of dx is, that's a 6 is a constant, and derivative here is 2/3 and x to the 2/3 minus 1. So that's 6 2/3, and 2/3 minus 1 is negative 1/3. So we have 3 into 6 goes 2, so that's a 4, and that's x to the negative 1/3, so that's 4 times 1 over x to the 1/3, so that's 4 over x to the 1/3, or you could have 4 over the cube root of x to the 1, which is now we can continue on here by taking the radical of the denominator, or we can leave it like this. Number 9, we have a root here, so let's change q to the x equals negative 8 over 5 times, and so the 4th root of x is x to the 1/4. So that's x to 1/4, that's on the bottom, so that becomes negative 1/4 when you, so x to the 1/4 is on the bottom, move it up, becomes negative. So we have the derivative of q to the x is the constant times x to the negative 1/4 derivative. So that's negative 8 over 5. And the derivative here is the negative 1/4 times 1. And it's x to the negative 1/4 minus 1. So this is negative 8 over 5 and negative 1/4. And that's negative 1/4 minus 1 is a negative 1 1/4, which is negative 5 over 4. So when we multiply, 4 into 8 goes 2, negative times negative positive, so we get 2/5, and that's x to the negative 5 over 4, which is 2/5 times 1 over x to the 5 over 4, and that is 2 all over 5x to the 5 over 4. And if you want, you can change that to a radical. So let's do it here. X to the 5 over 4 is the 4th root of x to the 5, which is 4 into 5 goes 1, so there's 1 out, and the 4th root of 1 in. So we could have 2 all over 5x 4th root of x if you wish, or you can leave it at 5 to the 5 times x to the 5 over 4. So that's more practice with the constant in front, but also when you're doing these examples, we're also reviewing the derivative of these functions here. So that brings us to the end of this video. And again, if you like my video, click on the like button, click on the subscribe button. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Just one word. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video helped you. Bye-bye.